The tension reaches its breaking point in tonight's season finale of Raising Kanan as the continued theme of betrayal spills into the final moments of the episode. The episode opens with Lou and Raq at rehab, where Lou emphasizes the importance of speaking the truth even though Raq is initially very apprehensive to the therapy treatments. Lou's doctor suggests that the continued anger Raq displays is likely her way of releasing some of her own hurt. The breakthrough sparks a heartfelt moment between the siblings. As Raq gets ready to leave the rehab facility, she opens up to Lou about him being her heart and that she will always care about him. She does take some responsibility in what Lou has become, but he admits that he must take accountability for his own actions. Seems like a more clean Lou has returned from the shadows of a depleting cemetery. Marvin stands at bay with his dark shades, toothpick held between his lips, and gold chains on, overlooking Gerald's repast. It's a melancholic moment until FBI agents join him with a combination of looks and reverse psychology. As Marvin stands with his feet firmly planted in the grass, they inform him that they aren't done with him. Marvin lets the FBI know that they're barking up the wrong tree. Juke and Aisha meet up together, and although at first Aisha questions what took Juke so long to reach out, ultimately her concern is how Juke is feeling. The pair share a kiss and Aisha opens up about having feelings for Jukebox. A shaken-up Juke tells Aisha she's going to the army next week. Her relationship ends just as it's starting. She unfortunately understands that, as long as she's near her family, nothing will ever be right. Havoc will continue to wreak. Detective Howard's tree is also getting barked when he officially gets called out for not doing things by the book. In an interrogation room sitting across from Captain Baptiste and Agent Tanner, he defends himself even with a lawyer at his side. All things considered, Howard gets stripped of his gun shield, temporarily assigned to modified duty while the investigation is open, leaving him with only 48 hours to clear their suspicions. When Kanan isn't scheming and making money, he's in bed with Juke's dance partner Crystal. Immediately following intercourse, Kanan lets her know he's not really looking for a girlfriend right now, but Crystal's late period doesn't seem to care. Jukebox's other dance partner Aisha joins her on a park bench. Juke has been Mia ever since their performance, embarrassingly leaving the mall with cops. The series makes us look at Raquel Thomas apologizing to Lou outside of the rehab center and actually meaning it. She is humanized in this moment, and their relationship seems to have evolved from lesser moments when she told him she owns him. Now, following the therapist's advice, she admits she was hurt because she felt like she was losing Lou. The Thomas family can safely go on to say they don't kill their siblings. Poetic scenes occur when Raq slows down at a red light to capture the neighborhood basketball court where young boys play, where her son once played, where her son was once a kid. As she reminisces about young Kanan, the moment is cut short when she gets multiple firearms pointed at her held by hands she's never seen before. The unmarked car rolling up at the same stoplight as her, snapping her back into focus and forcing her to a ceasefire. When Fame checks on Kanan after Raq gets shot at, a dismayed Kanan figures it's none other than Ronnie. Well, he refers to him as that crazy Mitherki. Famous delivers alarming news to Kanan about an attempt on Raq's life, prompting concern for her safety and some strong anger toward Ronnie. The FBI's investigation intensifies as they visit Lou at rehab and question him about the night of the recording studio shooting. Lou is still sticking to his original story about Crown being involved with the mob. The agents also question Lou on how he is paying for the rehab facility he is in. Lou later tells his therapist about the ordeal with the cops and feels like he will never be able to escape his former self. He will always be Lulu from South Jamaica. Later we see Lou attempt to commit suicide, but when he glances at himself in the mirror, he stops and sobs. I know I have said a lot about Lou, but I definitely feel for his current mental state. Marvin meets with the family lawyer to navigate the mounting legal challenges against him. Lou has been known to confess and share information that no one asked him and could heavily jeopardize his family's freedom in the last few episodes. He's done it so much that it was almost expected when FBI agents paid him a visit at the rehab center. The Made You Look theme continues when the persistent agents consult Lou about Marvin and debt. Howard's connection. He surprises viewers and the agents when his lips are sealed tight. Another character that made you look was Fame. Similar to Lou, Fame likes to sing about crimes he's committed, but instead of doing it with alcohol, he does it in his music. after federal authorities barged into Fame's mother's home to arrest him for murder and take him in for interrogation. He denies. When they deviate from his crime and try to coerce him into the topic of debt, Howard, his silence remains faithful. Raquel, who is always set and ready for war, takes a rather silent approach as well and decides against blazing Ronnie. Instead, she sends Marvin to schedule a talk with Snaps and Pop. A second sit-down with the OGs who created the game. If you know Riki, her moves always come in threes. Kanan and Juke take a walk like old times, exchanging feelings, thoughts, fears, etc. He tells her that he had nothing to do with Raq almost getting killed. He's done with Ronnie. The wise Juke reminds Kanan that his mom loves him more than anything in the world. That's not before a van pulls up on them and takes him away from Juke. This is where Raq has to make her second move, which involves turning to Stefano for a $500,000 loan in order to get Kanan back. The same Stefano that she was proving herself to for larger business opportunities. Tucking her tail in between her legs to ask him for money wasn't a part of the deal. A furious Kanan forcefully approaches Ronnie with no regard to the amount of damage Ronnie can do. He explains that as partners, he wasn't supposed to go after his family, but Kanan's disappointment and rage are discounted, seeing how Ronnie only cares about himself. And I ain't who you think I am. Kanan says his final warning to Ronnie. When relying on his spirituality and praying in an isolated mosque doesn't bring him the answers he seeks. Howard repeats his final warning to Raquel once more. Marvin has to take the fall in order to get the light off of himself, Raquel, and Kanan. While Howard and Raq argue in an empty living room about sacrifices and consequences, Juke and Marvin storm in to tell her about Kanan being kidnapped. Everyone comes to a consensus and focuses on the one thing they all have in common, Kanan. Kanan's parents and uncle report to the meetup location to hand off the duffel bag of bills to Ronnie. Kanan makes everyone look when he reveals that the kidnapping was staged and they just wanted the money. As Ronnie reaches for the things he's been focused on all season long, money, Kanan shoots, killing him from behind. In perfect sequence, Raq makes her third move and pulls the trigger that kills Det Howard. Right in front of Kanan, Howard's body descends onto the hard floor. A bloodbath of Ronnie, Det Howard, and a guardsman is where Raq and Kanan realize that they are one and the same. Kanan's natural childlike instincts can't help but surface when he asks more than once, "What just happened?" Marvin leads them back to the car and the Thomas family drive away. The ultimate made-you-look moment takes place in the last few seconds of this episode. When the smoke clears back inside of the warehouse, black combat boots peel the blood surrounding Ronnie's lifeless body. Although viewers never saw Unique's untimely death coming, no one would have anticipated him hovering over Ronnie at the end of this finale. He does the one thing that Ronnie forgot to do, make sure he's really dead.